And I'm live, and of course, I'm not ready. Idiot. Good God.
This is Billy Jack Haynes, former WWF Pro Wrestling superstar, and this is Monte and the Pharaoh, the number one ever radio podcast in the world.
Somebody say something about Tommy Wildfire Rich. Whew, I love my beer, but I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, to all you beer drinkers out there. Hey, when it comes down to some good wine, I like this good fucking wine right here. So ladies, gentlemen, y'all need to go down and get you some good fucking wine.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast. Monte the Pharaoh, only seen here out of, well, not out of studio, Jimmy. I'm at my house, and you're out of Wahoo Saloon. And our special guest, daughter of the great Matt Borne, Teagan Osborne. Thank you for joining us today and tonight at 9 o'clock at night. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you guys?
All right. So
Excellent.
I want to share with the audience. We were talking to Teagan about her appearance on Dark Side of the Ring, right? We all saw that Dark Side of the Ring episode on Matt Borne, and it was quite the episode. Had a lot of ups and downs in it. And Teagan, maybe you share with the fans about what you got out of that whole experience.
Yeah, so doing that show brought a lot of closure to me and my family. My dad and I didn't have like the greatest relationship. He died when I was only 15, so hormonal teenager. After he died, I had a lot of regret by the way that I treated him, and he didn't treat me the best either through what he was going through, and he was really close with my brother. But no, I realized, I realized this before.
Jimmy, you still there?
Yes, sir.
I think we lost her.
Yeah. Never mind
well.
fade to black. That's straight to black.
Well, she'll bounce back, I hope. Let me see. Let's see. All right, well, let's keep recovering until she comes back. She must have lost a little connection there. Oh, there she is. We're back.
Sorry,
there she is.
I don't know what the hell happened. What's the last thing you guys heard?
So we heard you were trying to, your regret on not having that relationship with your father.
Yes. So, doing the show, I realized that my dad really was a legend. While I was doing like the research and like looking into his matches, because when he did the matches, I was a baby. So of course I'm not going to really remember everything, but he honestly was one of the best to ever step in the ring ever. And after watching the full show, we filmed for 12 hours. So it was a long process. I had no clue what it was going to look like. But when I finally, looked back and watched it, I'm like, damn, like he was the shit. So it kind of gave me closure, recording that and filming it. Because I know he would be proud of me today. He always was proud of me, even though he didn't show it in the best ways all the time. And I wasn't very nice to him sometimes. but no, it gave me definitely a lot of closure. I know it gave my mom and my brother some closure, even though my brother wasn't a part of it. But that was my experience. I thought they did a good job. They have to talk about the bad. I mean, and it was all true. It's not like they made shit up. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. Everybody's a human, and my dad made mistakes, but he was good at what he did. So that's what I got out of that show.
So that's good to hear, because you hear about a lot on the documentaries, especially Dark Side of the Ring. They take a lot of cuts and they kind of put them out of context. But your experience, nothing at all like that then.
No, because they asked me, they were like, what do you guys want out of this? And I said, I want people to understand that, yes, he made mistakes that were probably outrageous, but at the end of the day, he was still a father. He was still a son, a friend to others that people did think highly of. But like he didn't have a chance to be a father with my two older half siblings. And my mom gave him that chance. And he did the best he could. I mean, addiction's hard. I've seen it firsthand. He did choose his kids most of the time, but the drugs interfered. So, but no, I thought the producers did a really good job, because they asked us in the beginning, because I said, I don't want to do this if you're going to make my dad look like more of a monster than people already think that he does. Because even when I was younger, I would see shit on headlines like Doink the Clown arrested, and that's why I had like a weird vibe with my dad, just because I believed everybody else around me. And I didn't really like let him be a dad to me. But now that I'm older, and I have talked to mediums and stuff too, which was helpful, and he has come through, and I know, like, some people don't believe in that shit, but I did believe it, because only my dad would say the shit that he said to this medium, and I know that he forgives me, and I know he knows that I forgive him, and if he was still around, we would definitely be best friends at this point. We were so
Well,
much alike, it was insane.
so can I ask you, like, what came over from your dad? Can you share something? Because just to share with you, we do have a special guest that does appear on our show once in a while. It's called the Spirit Box, and
Mhm.
it does speak to past wrestlers and things like that, right, Jimmy? That's a fan favorite of some
Well,
of the.
you know how I feel about that whole thing in general, because I do believe that it's very real. I don't take that as a joke. I take that as something very real. What was the core of the dynamic between the tension between you and your dad? Was it the favoritism? Because you mentioned that he was much more. He seemed to be partial to the brother, from what I just heard you say before. What was it that made you and your dad have the dynamic tensions that you might or might not have had?
So it wasn't a favoritism thing. My dad always, oh, there's my Papa Tony. My dad
There you go.
always treated me like, always wanted to, like, I was a daddy's girl when I was a kid. Like, when I was probably the age of, obviously the age I can't remember, 1 to 7, I remember being up my dad's asshole. Like, I was like all
Yeah.
about my dad. Then so our family dynamic was kind of weird. So after my mom and my dad would break up, they would break up a lot. That's just what happened when you're on drugs, I guess. So I would live with my grandma, my mom's mom, and my brother and my mom. We all lived together most of our lives. My grandma's no longer with us. She was like my mother. And my grandma did not like my dad. So the things that my grandma would say to me made me not like my dad. So I was kind of taught to not like him. It wasn't a favoritism thing. It was the people around me and my family would just say shit. And my brother was the only one that was like, no, dad's not like that. I love dad. I look up to dad. He is a wrestler. Like, my brother just had a totally different relationship after I got to the age where I could be manipulated, like between the age of 1 to 7, I didn't give a fuck what anybody said about me, or
Sure.
about my dad to me. It was
Sure.
more after that. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be around him. He comes around when he wants to come around. Who does he think he is? He wants to act like dad today, but he'll leave for the rest of the year and not act like dad. I don't fuck with that. And that was my headspace. And that wasn't the right thing to do. I mean, I was just manipulated in a hormonal teenager, unfortunately. So
Sure. When you reflected, when you finally got the chance, when you finally sat down and you watched your father's tapes, and yes, your father was way ahead of the curve back in the day as far as his technical abilities on the mat. did it help you come to terms with who your father really was? Was there any particular match that you like the light bulb went off and you were like, whoa, my dad was freaking awesome? Was there a moment like that for you?
100%. I mean, the moment I always knew my dad was important because I remember back in high school, I had a powder puff game once a year in high school. And my dad showed up to my powder puff game. He kept joking with me, I'm gonna show up as Doink. And I'm like, Dad, please don't show up as Doink. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed. And I will never forget it to this day. I'm literally in the middle of the football field. The game stops. Everybody turns their head, and Doink walks in the fucking stadium. And I'm like, oh my God. And like, I was embarrassed because that was a year before he died. So I would have been 14. I was embarrassed, but then in the back of my head, I was like, okay, I guess like people think my dad's the shit. Okay. But then after he died, I just, I realized all the posts and all like people helped us get the organ for his funeral. And I'm like, okay, he must have left an impact on some people.
Oh yeah.
And actually, after he died, I started going to church and I went to a private Christian school and I did a lot of reflecting on the way I treated him. It changed the way I looked at life because life's too short. And then, as I got older and I did do a Hall of Fame in Texas, I think. I was real young, but I did a speech and, it just clicks in your head once your brain matures, it's just like, it just clicks and then you've got more regret because then you go through the other 5 stages of grief. Like, damn, wish I could go back and call him and say, I love you, Dad. I'm sorry, Dad. You were the shit. I know you were. Like, I look up to you. And a lot of his traits, like the good traits I see in myself, like the way I can talk to anybody. I can go on stage in front of thousands of people, and I have done that and talk to people. And that's where I get it from him. And I'm thankful for that. And I know he lives it within me every day. And that's how I get through life because it's sad because I'm going to remember him longer than I actually have known him as my
Right.
dad.
Yep.
It'll be 12 years this year.
Yep.
And I'm only going to be 28. Like that's literally almost half of my life. So
Yeah. Wait till you're our age and you're still processing this. Wait,
I
just
know.
wait.
I mean, death stays with you forever. Like even with my grandma, like
Sure.
my grandma was very important to me. Her death was hard. It's still hard. It'll be 4 years. And I'm like, damn, like, I don't know how I'm going to live the rest of my life without her because she was like my mom. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Understood. Your dad was known for obviously his in-ring talent, and thanks to the internet, it's worse than ever nowadays. He also had the reputation for being a bit of a wild card outside of the ring. How would you explain the perception of him with the real man that you actually knew to the public, just to clear things up, because the internet is always spewing negative stuff.
100%. I mean, I fell in that hole as a child, watching, like looking at shit online. I'm like, damn, my dad's a monster. But when I look back at the good days when I was young, like that picture, and I think like how I looked up at him and I would be like, oh my God, that's my dad. We would lay in bed at night and we would play this game and it would be like, he would be like, I'm thinking of an animal that's blue. And like we would go back and forth and guess like these animals and just play games together. Like my dad was like a big teddy bear. He came off as intimidating and that's what he wanted. I get that trait from him, unfortunately. A lot of people at work, they don't even talk to me and they're like, I don't want to talk to that bitch. She looks scary. But then when they actually talk to me, they're like, oh, you're actually the shit and you're my boss. Like, this is great. And I'm like,
Right.
now I know how my dad felt. My dad literally fought that battle in his life, his whole life. People were intimidated by him for no reason because people judge a book by its cover. So yeah, he was wild, but the wild parts of him, he was on drugs. I'm not saying that's an excuse. That was a choice, but when I saw my sober dad, and I know my brother was obsessed with my sober dad, he was a great human. He was very intelligent. He was very outgoing. He was honestly a great person. It's just sad that drugs can do that to you, you know?
Let me ask you this. I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Did you know your father's father at any point? Did you get to know him at all?
So yes and no. I met him when I was a baby. I have pictures with him as a baby. I could not find them to send to you guys, but I would talk to him on the phone probably maybe 6 times a year. But I never got to fly to Oregon when I was old enough to like really like remember him, unfortunately. My mom was very close with him. She said he was one of the best men she's ever met. He was such a gentleman, such a great guy. Told my dad not to go into the WWE because he didn't want him to get caught up in the drugs. And he didn't listen to his dad, unfortunately. But no, I didn't get a chance to know him. My grandma, so my dad's mom, I met her at my dad's funeral for the first time that I obviously could remember. And that was an interesting experience. I'm not like it, she just wasn't very welcoming. Um, but I know my mom told me if my grandpa was alive, like that wouldn't have been the case. Like he was amazing, an amazing human. So
So you do Dark Side of the Ring, and I'm imagining you learned things about your father that you probably didn't know, or did you know everything that was on that documentary?
yeah, so the one thing that I did not know, which I still don't know if it's true. I'm not saying that my sister's mom is a liar. I just found it hard to believe, like when she brought up that my dad was like throwing cigarettes at them, and her and the baby, which is my sister Rena. Me and my sister Rena talk a lot every day, pretty much. I actually went and saw her in North Carolina 2 years ago, but I don't know. That's the one that kind of threw me off. The other ones, I knew about him lifting up the car because that happened in my town that I live in now. Um, I knew about the eyeball thing. I remember my dad talking about it. I mean, I knew all of the stories. I knew about the coke. I knew about it all, except for that one about my sister as a baby.
So you mentioned that your grandfather didn't want to go to the WWE because of drugs. Is that the reason your family feels that your father fell into that lifestyle?
Yeah, my mom did tell me that when she met him and she would watch him wrestle, he would never wrestled sober. And I'm not saying the like I don't want to talk shit on the WWE because I mean there's people that wrestle that aren't on drugs. I think back then though, it was like the norm. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. Obviously, I'm
Right.
not from that time, but it was just normal to do those things. It was normal to go party. It was normal to go do coke. It was normal to do all of that shit when you're in that business. And I think that's what my grandpa really didn't want him to get caught up in because my dad was a partier and obviously was easy to be manipulated into those things. So that's what I know.
Being that you lost your father at such a young age, and being, we all know addiction sometimes runs within a family. Were you able to keep yourself personally out of that lifestyle?
100%. My brother and I both. He won't. My brother is 24. He'll be 25 this year. Never has been in a bar. He refuses. The only thing he does is smokes weed.
Hmm.
He has his card, so that's what he does, and that's what my dad did. So I think he thinks that's okay to do, which is fine. Like I used to
Right.
smoke weed too. Like I get that, but no, I never got into the drugs. I drink occasionally when I on the weekends with my friends, but I don't have an addictive personality. It does run in the family. It runs on my mom's side too, because my mom is a former addict as well. So, I mean, me and my brother, I don't know what happened to us. Thank God it happened to us, but we're just, just we saw it. We don't want to live it. I saw what it could do to the family, and I'm just trying to change the generational bullshit.
Well, again, Jimmy, part of the reason Teagan is on this show is she is on a mission to get the great Matt Borne into the WWE Hall of Fame. Obviously, beyond being Doink the Clown, his career is Hall of Fame worthy. It just so happened that the character Doink the Clown in the WWE, because it's the largest federation, is what most wrestlers are known for, no matter what their gimmick is at the time. And, you know, Jimmy, what are your thoughts on Doink the Clown, Matt Borne against the other Doink the Clowns, whether it be Steve Kern or Ray Apollo, who we've had in studio?
Ray Apollo's a great guy, first and foremost. Let me get that out of the way. Doink the Clown, there's only one, and we all know it. And his name is Matt Borne. He was great as Doink the Clown. I find it very ironic that one of the best in-ring wrestlers of his time got pinned with Doink the Clown, but here's the end result. He got it over. He got it over with the crowd. The crowd loved Doink. He should be in the Hall of Fame. It's absolutely ridiculous that he's not when you think about some of the people that have been put in the Hall of Fame. Have you reached out at all to the WWE regarding this?
Yeah, so I have been emailing for 4 years. I emailed Sue Atchison, if that name rings a bell. She
Okay.
did get back to me, but it was like, I don't really know. I can't do anything for you. Like, I'll let you know if someone says anything. I've even called corporate. I would call them weekly, once a week, and I would get somebody and I would say, can you send me over to Paul Levesque? They would send me over to Paul Levesque and it would go straight to voicemail. And I'm like, and I couldn't even leave a voicemail. So I even tried Twitter. The tweet didn't do anything. I recently called 2 weeks ago. Nobody picked up, which was weird to me, like that nobody picked up. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I mean, I get it. Like if they're butthurt about like how my dad left the WWE and how he got fired and how we did Dark Side, but like, come on, at the end of the day, look at what he's done and look at how great he was. And Vince McMahon gave him this gimmick and he totally made it into something still today that people freak out about. Like at work, if anybody knows what Microsoft Teams is, there is GIFs of my dad in there. GIFs, however you say it. And I'll send it to people because it's hilarious because it looks just like me, just with Doink face on. And I send it like he's laughing or he's fighting.
Right.
And they're like, Teagan, that is so cool that your dad is a GIF. And I'm like, I know, it's crazy. But like, he's not in the Hall of Fame? That's crazy to me.
Doink was unsettling, Mike. I'm talking as a
Well,
nerdy fan right now.
the Matt Borne character absolutely was unsettling.
Doink was very unsettling. He was able to pull off that nefarious clown. He scared the crap out of me, and I think I was like 20-something at the time.
Yeah,
I went by
he
him.
was good like that. He was real, like he was he made it his own. And you know, he also, because I knew parts of like he was very silly. So like the silly parts when Doink would like, you know, make those weird motions or squirt you with the flour or just all the little weird shit. Like my dad acted like that in real life, like with his kids. So like that was still parts of him coming out. Like he was obsessed with that character. He practiced talking in the mirror. I know there's a picture I sent you guys of my brother. They painted their own faces. My dad literally taught him how to do it. They did it in the mirror. That's what my dad, like, he was obsessed with it even years after he got fired. Like, it's just sad because he is one of the wrestlers that really, you know, sunk his teeth into it and made it his own and like was obsessed with it and made like wanted to keep doing it. You know, it sucks.
Do you think that the WWE is shy and wants to stay away from wrestlers like Matt Borne, who, of course, you know, there's a lot of speculation about his death and possible foul play. Look, it's the internet. We're just fans. We read these things. Do you think that there was more to your father's, you know, passing yourself, like, you know, personally, or?
Absolutely. I mean, I said it in the show. I don't think he OD'd. I know a lot of people are like, well, look at his past. He definitely OD'd. Like, don't be so naive. Or gullible or whatever the fuck that they said to me when the show came out. But I honestly think that she did it because he called my mom the day before he died, telling her that he was going to leave Connie. And then the next day he dies. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, come on. Like, it just doesn't. And like the police report in the show, everything that she said, and then they brought the police report up, it was the total opposite. So I just think that the WWE needs to get over the fact that the rumors, it's the internet. Everybody's going to make shit up. Just like when I aired on Dark Side of the Ring and people were talking shit on me, that doesn't mean that I can't get hired for another job. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's 2025. Get over it. Do it because he made it the shit, and humble yourselves and don't take credit for it. Like, he's been gone 12 years. Give him and his family that satisfaction and let them have closure and move on and be proud. And then we'll like just move on with life. I just don't understand why it's so hard.
Mike, on top of that, not just the Doink fame that he attained through his career, but to hammer it home, she previously mentioned the Texas Hall of Fame or whatever she remembered being down there for. Mike, are you aware that Matt Borne defeated Kerry Von Erich for the Texas USWA World Heavyweight Championship? Does that circle and underline for the purists out there, that not only for Doink the Clown, because you're gonna have the purists that are like, oh, it was just Doink. Nah, well, you know what? If you look at the body,
Jimmy, you can't. I don't think we could also discredit that he was the opening match for WrestleMania, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
maybe the second match. I'm sorry, he wrestled Steamboat, right? So it was the second match.
I think I thought it was the opening match. I thought it was the first match.
Well, you have Tito in the execution.
I think it was Tito. Yeah, it was Tito against
Tito against
the mask guy, right?
Right.
But again, Matt Borne, and remember, I don't think Matt maybe had just started with the WWE right then and there, and that's a big spot to be put in, and he did a great job. Teagan, but also your father was a tough, rough guy, and again, we're just fans, but what you read is he was a bit of a bully. Can you confirm that from what your mom said? What maybe your mom told you?
I would say, I mean, honestly, I've come off as a bully too, so I'm not going to say he's not. I'm not like that anymore, but in high school it was bad. But I feel like he just had a bad way of proving himself. It was like he always wanted to be the best, and his way of getting that out would be like coming off as bullying, because I've been there, done that, and I can relate to that because I played softball for 15 years. I always wanted to be the best. I used to get kicked out of games because they said I bullied the girls. I'm like, what the I didn't fucking bully anybody. It's just how I am. Like, I guess it's just my dad and me. I don't know what else to say. But no, I could definitely see why people would say that. I'm not going to deny it because he's my dad. But it's also him trying to stick up for himself. He had some insecurities, from getting fired. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to deny that.
Did he ever show any signs to you of the physical pain he was coming home to the house with?
Like,
he's a wrestler
physical pain from the physical pain from the training and shit?
Yeah, like what he did for a living. Did you ever see any signs? Because in the end of the day, if you're doing what a lot of those wrestlers were doing back then, you're definitely going to be taking pain pills and stuff. I mean, did he show signs of a banged up body?
100%. He was always sore. I remember him when he would come visit. I think he came to visit like 3 times a year. He would always complain about his knees. His knees, he hated them. He goes, "Oh, I can't fucking walk." And my mom's like, "Jesus, Matt, you're only 48. Like, you're gonna be in a walker by the time you're 50, whatever." And he ended up dying at 54 or 55 or however old he was. But yeah, he complained all the time. I mean, his legs, his back, his knees were the worst, for sure.
How often did you see him?
So after they finally broke up for good, I was probably in 2nd grade. So I would have been 7, 8 years old. He would visit probably average 3 to 4 times a year, unless him and my mom were fighting really bad and she'd be like, "You're not coming." Or if he was really bad, going through his addiction, she'd be like, "You're not coming around the kids at all." So there was probably a good maybe 2 years max in our lives that we didn't see him straight. But that was it. I mean, he would come like 3 to 4 times a year.
Teagan, hard question though. Was your father abusive towards your mom?
He was. Yep. I only saw one thing. I was very young. So it's kind of blurry, but I remember like crying, going to grandma's after, and then because my mom wanted to get me out of the situation as quickly as possible. But the one memory that I do remember, He did not hit her. He did not do anything abusive. I think he might have did it like a couple days before this that obviously I don't remember. But my mom just picked up me and my brother. This was also in the show. Picked me and my brother up with our both of our hands, took clothes, nothing, and said, Matt, I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. And I just remember looking at my dad, and he just looked at me crying, sitting on the couch, and we never looked back. I think that was the day they finally broke up. Like they were completely done. But they ended up being friends after too. Because my dad, you know, apologized. He repented. He came to God. They were friends. And that's why they talked on the phone all the time and talked the night before he died.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched that documentary, I was like, wow, they kind of like worked out their issues. Now you mentioned Connie before. Is Connie still with us?
Connie's alive, unfortunately. Yep.
Have you ever gone face to face with Connie?
Yep. I met not after he died. I met her before he died. He brought her to visit with us. And we went to the mall, we went shopping. I could tell something was a little off, kind of bipolar. One moment she'd be okay, next moment she'd freaking the fuck out. I'm a fan. But then, you know, that was the only time I really knew her. She actually called the cops on, because, okay, this is going to be a little backstory. When I was like 14, 15, I went through a little girl phase. I dated a girl. Okay. My dad wasn't a fan. He did not like it. Connie definitely did not like it. And this is when she was visiting. She called the cops because the girl that I was dating was a little bit older than me. She was 18 and I was 14.
Right.
And Connie called the cops because technically that's not allowed. I mean, unless the parent approved, but they knew that I was home alone. So after Connie did that, I had no respect for her. And that would have been 6 months before my dad died. And then Connie left because her and my dad got in a fight. My dad stayed longer. And then he ended up leaving. And then he visited us again. So that would have been like probably January of 2013. June of 2013, he stayed for the whole month before he died. He had a drunk night because Connie, you know, triggered him. He went drank, he came home. Him and my mom fought. She said, get the fuck out. So he left. He went back to wherever the fuck they lived, Texas, I think it was. And he died 2 weeks later. And my brother was supposed to go with him to stay for the summer. And my brother didn't. And it makes me wonder, like, if my brother did go, would he have died? That it's just a weird thing to think about, you know?
So when he dies, does Connie call your mom or call you and say, hey, your father's passed? Like, how does that get communicated?
Yeah, so from what I remember, I woke up really early to go to All Stars for soccer. My mom called me 6 a.m. because she was working where I don't know where she was working, but she had to get up early. She said, I think your dad's dead. I said, what did you just say to me? She said, I think your dad's dead. I said, how is that possible? You were just talking to him last night. And like Connie called me. She's all fucking wigged out. I couldn't understand her. Then I go online. TMZ has it head, but I don't know if it's because TMZ lies and has made this up about your dad before. And I'm like, all right, well, just call me and let me know. So I finally get to softball practice and she calls me 5 minutes in and she's like, your dad is dead. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? She goes, don't tell your brother. I want to tell him to his face. But Connie did call my mom. And my mom was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because Connie was going all over the place. Like, he died. I'm at the hospital. He wasn't breathing. And I caught him gurgling. I saw him puke. I waited. She goes, wait, you waited? How long did you wait? And she said, well, I let him go through the night. It was just like a literal nightmare. It was just honestly a nightmare.
Let him go through the night?
Yeah. So like, apparently when my dad was talking to my mom the night before he died, he was in the hot tub. I was playing a softball game. He apologized for the way he acted when he was here. Then my mom said, okay, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm leaving Connie. That's why I'm calling you as well. I'm in the hot tub. And he said, hey, Connie, go get me a drink. She goes and gets Connie a drink, or Connie goes and gets him a drink. And her mom was on liquid morphine in hospice living with them. And in my dad's autopsy report, had 400 milliliters of liquid morphine in him. But so my mom knew that Connie was going to get broken up with. And then all of a sudden, my dad at 6. And Connie said that she saw him gurgling in the chair, and she just was smacking him in the face, like, wake up. Then she went back to bed and then woke up again at 6 a.m. and then called 911. Makes no sense to me.
Did the law take it any further? Did they investigate your feelings on all of this? I mean, how much was this pursued afterwards? Any of it?
So we did have a detective. Sorry, my dogs are acting ridiculous. We did have a detective, and she looked into it as far as she could. But she said, Connie did it the right way. There's nothing more that we can do. Like with his, experience with him being a drug addict, like, we can't prove anything out. And that was basically it. They just gave up on us. So it was just like, well, they were like, saying it's suspicious. Like, there's nothing more that we can do. And that's what that report was in the documentary about, like, at 6 a.m. Then she went back to bed. And that's why everybody went, after they watched it, they're like, Connie's suspicious as fuck. Why would she go back to bed? And after the documentary aired, I expected to, like, get a lot of hate. And I only had one person. I had to make all my social media private because I was getting blown up. But I only had one person reach out to me and say that, like, Connie didn't do it. You're fucked up. All the other people were like, you need to fight it again. Like, you need to call a detective again. We tried to do it again because we thought we'd be able to, but we couldn't find the detective that was a part of it. So it's just, it sucks. I mean, I never know the truth. In my heart, I think I know it. I think she did do it. I don't think he would do that to his kids. My brother was only 12 years old, obsessed with my brother. And he wanted to see me succeed in life, and he didn't even get to see it. So I try to just tell myself he didn't do it on purpose.
Right. Well, here's a question that got me in trouble on an interview in the past, but I have to ask it to you. As a daughter, is part of you mad at your father for his passing?
Yes and no. I'm mad because for probably two reasons. I'm mad because why was it so hard to stop the drugs? Which I don't know what that's like. I can't say it's easy. I know it's not easy. So what, but I still get pissed. Like, why weren't we good enough for you to completely be done? And two, it makes me sad because now that I'm older and I'm matured and I've made a good life for myself, I own a house, I have 4 dogs of my own, I became a CPA, like I did everything, and I don't have him to see it. What when I get married? I'm have a dad walk me down the aisle. Like, that's the shit I think about. Is that selfish? Probably, but that pisses me off because I'm like, damn, I know that me and him would be tight because we're so much alike. And now that I realize that, it makes me sad because I'm like, fuck, I know that I would have a relationship with my dad, and I see all my friends have one with theirs. And it just, I don't know, it hurts my heart a little bit, but I'm also not mad because I know he's not dealing with the pain that on in his head and the shit that he had to deal with, and, the people giving him hate. And also, I wouldn't be where I am today if my dad didn't die. Probably another selfish thing to say, but I just, since I had daddy problems as a kid and it was on my own fault, like listening to others, I wasn't going down the right path. Like, I used to be a high honor student, like elementary school up until probably I was 14. And then I was like, fuck this. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm just going to live life and try to do the bare minimum. And then after he died, I'm like, shit, I got to get my shit together. Because what's going to happen if my mom dies? Because now I know what death is like. I literally see it firsthand now. I'm like, I could fucking die tomorrow. So, like, let me live my life and live it the best that I can. And, you know, but I don't know. So yes and no. Sucks, but yeah.
By the way, Teagan, hell of a message, really. Great response. It is, it is kind of strange that if he would have lived, you might not have made the life you have. And him passing,
Yeah.
it's actually almost like he sacrificed himself for his family in some sort of way. Also, I want to remind everybody that Teagan's on the show because we're trying to push Matt Borne to the WWE Hall of Fame, and as Jimmy had said, and Jimmy, please reiterate. If anyone deserves it, it is Matt Borne, even beyond the clown gimmick. Right, Jimmy?
Well, I still give massive respect to the clown gimmick. You know, I wonder if Teagan had to take any shit growing up because of the fact that he played Doink the Clown. I mean, it's way beyond that as far as the Hall of Fame goes. When you look at some of the folks that are getting put into the WWE Hall of Fame, you scratch your head. And I've been watching wrestling for a half a century. When you've got the background of a guy who killed it in the territories, I'm sorry. Look at every place that Matt Borne stopped, whether it was with Buzz Sawyer or later on, like I mentioned, with Kerry Von Erich, and you can name a few more, because he was everywhere and he was successful everywhere. And then to do the Doink the Clown gimmick, to me, and I don't think it's a stretch, when Vince McMahon decided to put polka dots on Dusty Rhodes, to the credit of Dusty Rhodes, he got the polka dots over with the fans. That is the end game result you want. And that's what Matt Borne did with Doink the Clown. And by the way, it's no coincidence to me that around that time, Stephen King, one of his most famous novels, It, was coming out. So trust me, the timing was good. I know it sounds like a crazy idea, but Vince was known for crazy ideas. And Matt Borne, the man, made it work. How's that, Teagan? Does that work?
It's pretty damn good.
What do you think?
Yep, you did a good job explaining that. He fucking killed that shit. He made it his own. He studied the fucking Joker. He loved the It movie. I love that you brought that up. That was was our movie we watched together.
Wow.
I mean, he made it amazing. Like, when I look back at his matches, I'm like, look at the way he's acting. Like, I think about like the John Cena's and the Rocks today. They go from wrestling to acting. If my dad would have just stayed out of the drugs, look at what he could have been. That's why I want him in the Hall of Fame, because of what he could have been and what he already was. He could work that fucking ring. I watch his matches and I'm like, damn, that looks like he actually hit that motherfucker. Like, he was good. The way he hit the ropes, the way he acted in there, like, it was just honest. I'm speechless. And I'm not just saying that because he's saying it. And I'm not even a wrestling fan. Sorry, guys, but I'm not. I don't watch it. So the fact that I'm even saying that just speaks volumes. And, you know, I wish I could say it to his face, but I know he knows, because I told the medium to tell him I said that, and my dad responded. So he just needs this. He needs
Teagan, I got to ask this question, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but here's Matt Borne, the apple of his eye, is dating another woman at 14. He's not happy with it. What's the conversation Matt Borne has with his daughter about that situation?
Oh, boy.
And again, not that there's anything wrong with it. We're just asking the question, right?
No, so he hated that the girl was older than me. So he already didn't want to give her the benefit of the doubt. No, he was in his repenting stage. So he was like, you're going to go to hell. Not what you should be doing. Like, you're a girl. You're going to be with a man. And I'm like, whatever, Dad. Guys don't like me. This girl likes me, so I'm gonna date her. Like, you're not even here all the time, so why are you acting like you're my fucking dad? Like, that's literally how I would talk to him without the F word.
Right.
But I mean, he just wasn't fucking with it. He did try to give in. Like, I brought the girl to the mall when we went on mall trips. Did he talk to her? No. Did he look her in the eye? No. Like, maybe to scare her, but that was literally it. So, yeah, that's how he responded. Like, he was just not happy. And, you know, like, a little bit of background on me. Like, I've always been, like, more of a tomboy. Even before I went through my little phase with women, I never really got the attention from men. And I was like, maybe it's because I look just like my fucking dad. Literally the way I'm shaped. I'm short like my Papa Tony. I got the wide fucking back. Literally, if Vince McMahon called me today and say, hey, do you want to wrestle? I'd be like, might as well. I already look like a wrestler, so whatever. Like, so the guys just didn't like me. So I'm like, fuck it. I'll let if the girls like me, we'll let it fucking ride. But now that, like, you know, I'm starting to love myself, and I lost the weight I needed to lose. I'm like, okay, maybe I should try out with a man, maybe make dad happy up there or down there, wherever the fuck he's at. So I don't know. It is what it is. But
Wait a minute. Hold on. You did the medium thing and you didn't find out where he's at?
no, I didn't ask. I just
What?
assumed he was in heaven. I'm hoping he is. So
Oh my God. That would have been like my first question. Where are you?
I
Ay,
know,
ay,
but
ay.
no, it was crazy because the medium didn't know who I was. I told him a completely different name, so he couldn't like Google me. And
Wow.
my grandma came through
Smart.
first, and then an old friend of mine that died. And he went, and for some reason, I'm getting a clown. I said, what?
Get out of here. Are you
No, I
serious?
can't even make this shit up. He was like, yeah, clown. He's saying he's famous. He says that he keeps telling me to look at your right arm. And I'm like, and I have my dad tattooed on my right arm. And I was
Wow.
like, oh my God. I said, yeah, this is him. And he went, Doink, who's Doink the Clown? He goes, oh my
Get
God,
out
like
of
the
here.
wrestler Doink the Clown. I said, yeah, that's my dad. He was like, oh my God. And then he was like, the medium was the type that would be like, Matt, so what are you trying to tell me? And so he goes, what do you want to ask your dad? I said, does he know that I'm okay? Like, I made myself successful. Like, I'm going to be okay. He said, you're the apple of his eye. Anytime you hear a girl come on, and that he said to me as a little girl, he goes, anytime that's on, he's there. He goes, he knows you have a house. He knows he's a grand dog or grandpa to dogs. And I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And ever since that happened, that was probably in October, everywhere I go, I'm out at the DJ's there with the songs. My Girl on in the remix. How rap song to My Girl, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm like, I know that he's here. But yeah, no, that was a really cool experience because as soon as he said clown, I'm like, I know this guy's not fucking with me, and because he didn't get to Google me. So
Wow.
How much of
crazy.
I hate to make a left-hand turn, but I got to. How much of the Christianity was it drilled into you, or was it willingly observed by you in the past?
Wait, repeat that. You cut out a second.
When you mentioned that you started going to church previously, right? When you were young, right?
Yeah.
How much of that was like, drilled into you, or were you able to, like, was it more willingly that you sought out that sort of thing? And how did that come into play with you when you went to a medium? Because there, you know the story. There are some that'll be like, oh, you can't be a Christian if you do something like that. Did you wrestle with any of that stuff when you went to the medium?
No, so I didn't grow up Christian. I didn't grow up religious. I was baptized Lutheran, but my family never went to church.
Okay,
When my dad would come home to visit, he would try to get me and my brother to go to church. I think we probably went to church with him twice out of all the times he wanted us to go because we're like, fuck that. We don't go any other time. We're not going now.
right.
But after he died, I remember he left his Bible in my mom's apartment, and I went and grabbed it, and I was like, okay, I mean, I'm gonna see what the fuck he was so obsessed about. Like, I don't know.
Right.
So I opened the Bible and I'm like, okay, like, what am I gonna do with my life now? Like, and then I found somebody online that I was friends with. We went to church together, not all
Hmm.
the time, but randomly. And then I ended up picking a Christian college so I could learn about, like, actually take the classes to learn. And I mean, I don't go to church regularly now. I believe in God. Like a prayer every type of night person, not doing this every, like, but I do believe in God, and I relationship with God if my dad didn't die. But yeah, I didn't wrestle with that at all with the medium because I always believed in him. I used to watch freaking Teresa Caputo when I was a fucking minor. So like I didn't care. Like I still believed it no matter what. So I didn't really wrestle with it at all.
Very good.
I want to remind everybody Teagan's here again that she is hoping that the WWE would consider putting in Matt Borne, Doink the Clown, or Matt Borne, the wrestler, into the WWE Hall of Fame. And I think us old WWE guys would have to agree that he deserves it without a doubt. I want to thank Sal Corrente also for the introduction. Teagan, I got to tell you, you're a pretty impressive human being. I like the way you share candidly your situations and your thoughts, and it is pretty impressive, and it's a good little deal there.
Yeah, but why didn't she get into the business? You should have been pounding Nia Jax right now. No, seriously. Did you think
honestly, after the show aired, the producers like literally asked me, it wasn't aired. They were like, "So what are you going to do when the WWE sees this and they call you?" I said, "Call me for what? To do? I hope not to do their taxes because I'm a fucking author, so I'm not trying to do that." They were like, they said no. They like to wrestle. I said, "Me wrestle," and like I said before, I was 80 pounds heavier back then, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to wrestle. They're like, it's not about the body, it's about the personality. I said, you know what? Fuck yeah, I do that. Bring Doink back. I'll be Doink fucking Ed.
That's what I mean. That's
Doink
right. You
Ed?
could be Doink It. Yes.
Doink Ed.
Literally, bring my brother in it. We'll be fucking Doink. We look just like dads, so who cares?
Teagan, I gotta ask you to share with the fans. So we were talking before the start of the show, and she was talking about being on Dark Side of the Ring. Can you share like just how fucked up the internet is and like what was happening to you? It's like here you have this emotional story of a wrestling icon who possibly could have been murdered, and his family is telling the story. And it was let me tell you something real quick before we even get into that. I thought at one point Dark Side of the Ring was done. Last season, they turned it around. I mean, they really turned it around. So can you share with the fans what you had to go through just being on Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah, so I'll start positive and then end up where we talked about before we went live. So I have made actually a really good friend from the show. Hold on one second. Let me yell. Boys! They literally, like, anytime I'm on a call, they want to get out, please. So
they want camera time. They want camera time.
I can't deal. So I made a good friend. He actually sent me a Doink doll. He wasn't creepy at all. It was actually a really good experience. I'll talk to him today, and it's been 3 years. But also, I had some creepy guys who were like, "Hey, can I send you a picture of your dad and you sign it, but then also spray some perfume and maybe throw in a pair of underwear?" And I'm like,
what?
Yo, block. Like, what the fuck? So I would get that. But then this is where I'm like, damn, like the internet does. So one part where producers asked me like what I went through when my dad died, I explained that, like I was depressed. People my age didn't understand death. I lost a lot of friends because they were like, this bitch acting like this. We need to get rid of her. She's ruining the vibe. And I remember reading a bunch of comments like, well, she probably didn't have any of those friends because she ate them all, fucking fat ass. Like literally people saying shit like that. Or people saying, she better watch her weight or she's not going to last until however old her dad died. Like she won't make it to 50. And I'm like, these motherfuckers, man, like I was big, but I wasn't that it's not like I was on my 600-pound life, for God fucking sake. Like, gee, look at my dad. He was fucking huge, and I literally have his whole build, and I'm a woman. So, I mean, I did lose the weight, everybody, by the way, so I didn't eat my friends. I'm 80 pounds lighter. My friends are all still alive. They're actually not, because they all fucked me over in high school because they couldn't deal with death, just so you know. Didn't eat them. So, everybody should know that.
Lean
they're
cuisine,
alive.
motherfuckers. Lean cuisine.
I'm not Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm good. So.
Oh my God, the Jeffrey Dahmer. All right, look, I'm going to go a little off subject because Teagan, I really do find you entertaining, so I need you and Jimmy to weigh in on this. We're going to go to a news item real quick. We usually open up with a news item, but now I have to go to a news item. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna make this statement, then I'm gonna play the video, and then I'm gonna have to have both of you guys weigh in. All right.
Oh boy.
Married Illinois teacher, 30, says she was accused of molesting boy, 15, because she's good looking. A married Illinois special education teacher accused of molesting a 15-year-old student told police that she is being set up by the teen and that she has been targeted for being good looking. Christine Formola, 30, a teacher, a soccer coach of Downers Grove High School, insisted to the cops that she's a good person, but that everybody comes after her because she looks really good. Let me see. She claimed one day the boy had grabbed her phone and had entered the passcode and created all the messages that the cops got held of that proved her to be having an affair with this student. I'm going to play the video, and then I'm going to ask you guys to weigh in on this.
Oh, God.
Whatever I need.
Yeah, whatever you need, like your phone, your purse, go ahead and grab it.
Is she going somewhere? Or?
Yeah, we're going to explain that.
By the way, she is good looking. I just got to say that.
You need.
Whatever I need.
Yeah, whatever you need, like your phone, your purse, go ahead and grab it.
Is she going somewhere? Or?
Yeah, we're going to explain everything to you guys, so go ahead and turn around for me.
Excuse me, is my husband coming with?
Yes, yeah, he's taking his phone number down. We're staying in touch with him. We're just going to Downers Grove, so 10 minutes away.
No, I know, but I really would prefer that my husband's with me.
Of course.
Am I in trouble? Like, I'm so lost right now.
Sure you don't want a tissue or something?
I'm feeling I'm gonna throw up.
You want a bag?
Yes, please.
All right.
Oh my god.
All right, so what do you guys think? You guilty as charged, or what do we got going on here?
Take it away, Teagan. I'm appalled.
I mean,
You're appalled. You're
I'm
appalled. You're
I'm
appalled.
appalled.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
I mean-
appalled that your first observation is that she's good looking. What is wrong with my partner, Teagan? I mean,
yeah.
seriously.
As
First
soon
of
as
all,
she said that, I'm like, the old Teagan wouldn't even fuck. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And the fact that she thinks that she's good looking enough that a special ed kid would want that bitch, she's already fucked up. She's fucked up. Don't cry now, bitch. You're crying because you're ugly. Like, I don't know what else to say.
yeah, even
Well,
uglier on
wait a
the
minute.
inside.
Well, what do you think about the husband? Like the husband's driving where the cops pull over and arrest her, then you find out that your wife's been banging a special ed's kid.
That's so fucked up. He probably was like, divorce now. You weren't even that cute anyway. Go be with him. I don't give a fuck.
God.
And you
Yeah, I
think
don't
we
they
all
made
have
up.
problems. You think we have problems. I mean, my
Right.
God.
Yeah. I'm Mr.
can't.
Rogers compared to what I just saw. That's fucked up.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wait, I gotta ask though, what would go through like a teacher's mind that they would even go to that length to like, I don't get it. Is it like the whole taboo thing? Like, what is it?
They must really just like sad in their marriage that they not getting enough attention. Like what the I don't even fucking know. You can't even. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. And
I'll tell you what. I'll take you off the hook, and I'll say that on behalf of my partner, because I know my partner's thinking this because he's a perv. Where the hell were these teachers when we were in junior
Yeah,
high?
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
Where the hell were these
Yeah.
teachers?
Yeah, we had those smoking on teachers, and they lived a clean life. What the fuck's going on
Jimmy,
here?
just think about this.
Yeah.
We weren't good looking enough back then.
What are you talking
Meanwhile,
about?
this one's
I was
banging
mint.
a special ed's kid. I mean, come on, man.
Well, maybe that's the problem. I wasn't a special ed kid because I was good looking, and so are you. Stop it. Just because we got old now, you are brutal. Brutal. What the hell?
Oh,
That's so
I still
funny.
look like Shawn Michaels, and my eyes both work, so leave me alone.
wow. I
That
don't
was
even
rough.
lie.
That was rough. That was mean. I'm sorry, Sean.
That
Go
was
on.
tough. That was
All
tough.
right, so that's what happens, Teagan, when Mike throws in a news item, which I dread every week. Go ahead.
I love it.
Right.
That's all.
You're
Anyway,
officially
Teagan,
part of the family now.
please give your final pitch why your
Yeah.
father, Matt Borne, should be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
So, if anybody who's watching this, watch any of his old matches, think about his career coming from Portland. He had a full scholarship to a college and he turned it down to wrestle in the WWE because he was that passionate about it. Or WWF back then. He wanted to make a difference. He wanted to prove people wrong. He wanted to be, a known figure in the WWF. And look, 12 years since he's died, people were still talking about him. People were still trying to fight for him. He made his mistake. Don't judge him off of that. I'm not just saying this because I'm his daughter. I just told you guys we didn't have a relationship. I'm doing this because I know my dad deserves it. And if I was him and I would be dead, I would want my daughter to fight me to get what I deserve. I would love to go to that Hall of Fame induction and give the best fucking speech I can give and talk so highly of him so my family can just hold their heads up high and move on with life knowing their dad got what he deserved. So if you guys feel like he should do that and you want to give that to us as his family, we would appreciate that. Anybody that can reach out to. I mean, I'll fight until the day I die for him. I don't care how long it is. So hopefully I'm on social media. Please follow me, get a hold of me. Anybody from the WWE, please call me. I've been trying to call. Even if you want me to fucking wrestle, I'll hang up my PA hat real quick. I'll come wrestle and bring Doink back, but we got to get him in the Hall of Fame. So please, anybody, I would appreciate it.
Well done, Matt Borne. Hashtag Matt Borne, WWE Hall of Fame. Jimmy, send us out. Again, Teagan, thank you for joining us. It's been an honor to have you on the show. You're fantastic. God bless. Jimmy?
Thank you, Teagan. You've been watching Monte and the Pharaoh with Teagan Osborne. And until next week, later.